Okay, guys, story time. It's been a while since I put up a long video. I've been doing mostly shorts because my shorts get a lot more views and the long videos don't really get paid attention to. But I know some of you like to watch my longer videos. And I haven't done many at all this year. I've done some earlier in the year, but not very many. So here we go. Here's an update. It's August 31st, 2025. And it's been a wacky year for beekeeping, and it's been a wacky year for everything, including the garden. 37 degrees this morning. It was 37 degrees yesterday morning, and last week we had a 36-degree morning. And it's just August, believe it or not. Next 2 weeks are predicting below normal temperatures for daytime highs. But right now things are going good. As you remember, the Layens hive had a swarm move in on June 9th. And they moved in, they stayed in. During the rest of June into July, they really didn't do much of anything. I gave them resources. And they just weren't really building. I mean, they only had half the hive. From there, I had a divider board over. You can see where their entrance is right there. I mean, the weather was, it's favorable, but the bees weren't really doing much. So I stocked them up on honey that I had left over from last year, and that seemed to help them out a lot because after they moved in, we had about 3 days of rain and cool weather, so they weren't really flying at all, so that honey that I gave them helped them out. Well, let's fast forward to late July. By late July, they had filled the entire hive. The queen in there was a laying machine. And for some reason, at the end of July, she ended up turning on a switch. And I'm telling you, I had every single frame in there was full. Not only with resources, but with bees, brood, eggs, larvae, you name it. So early August, the first week of August, I found swarm cells in here. So instead of letting them swarm, I took half the hive, including the queen, moved her in here. Yes, there are laying frames in that's hive here. Even though those are two deep Langstraw deeps, they're pretty much mended together from the inside, and laying frames fit perfectly inside that hive with no issues. Entrance is right down over there. I'm not using the bottom board for the entrance. That's all closed up. I've got a little disc right there. Take you into it. So then that hole was already in the deep, so I just ended up just using that as the entrance. And I got the bottom sealed up. And this has 11 Layens frames in them, and they're all filled. Let me get out of here. Back up. So my intention was keeping the original queen in here and just doing a walk-away split. But when I started to go through this hive, I found the queen right away, so I just ended up putting her in there. So basically I did an artificial swarm. I took her and half the colony and put them in there. I went back in here and got rid of all the swarm cells. Before we did this, let me back up for a minute. Before I did that, we had ordered mated queens from Wisconsin. My bee mentor ordered 4 of them because she needed to do 3 splits herself. She gave me 1 mated queen. So after I did the artificial swarm, meaning I took half this hive, including the queen, I placed her in here and let her do her thing. I got rid of the swarm cells in here. I let this hive sit for about 24 hours to 30 hours without a queen. I didn't do anything. I got the mated queen. She was in a little cage. I kept her inside my house overnight after they got here through UPS next day delivery. So about 24 to 30 hours, I came out. I put the mated queen in on the bottom floor, left her in the cage. there was a candy cork, so the bees would have to eat her out, eat the candy out to get her out of there, out of the cage. Plus, she had some tendons in there. So they did. After 3 days, I came back to this hive, and they had released the queen, and I found her on a frame. I saw no aggression towards her, so I figured they accepted her. They got her out in 3 days, and everything looked good, so I closed it back up. I didn't bother checking in here because I knew most of the foragers that I transferred into that hive went back in here, and they did. So for a week later, the original queen I put in here wasn't really doing much laying at all. I mean, it was really getting hot. We had over 100-degree heat indexes for a week, and there really wasn't much going on. But of course, they had plenty of resource, but it was just so freaking hot. And the queen, she really didn't do nothing for the first week because most of her foragers that I ended up putting in here ended up going back to this hive. And naturally, the nurse bees and new brood was emerging, stayed in this hive. So, after a week, I came back to look for this queen again to see if she started laying. She was a mated queen that we got from a Wisconsin apiary. I can't think of the name now, and she was gone. I couldn't find her, and they had made 3 new capped queen cells. I'm like, what the heck now? So since I didn't find the mated queen, the marked mated queen, I left those swarm cells as is, or supersedure cells, whatever you want to call them. To me, they were swarm cells because they're all on the bottom of the frame. So I said, oh, great, what's going on here? The mated queen, the purchased queen is gone. So I closed it back up. I did an inspection here, and she started laying again. And I started to see eggs and larvae, so I didn't really go through that hive too much. And then within the next 2 weeks, this hive began to really populate, and it's going really good. So fast forward to yesterday, August 30th. We went through this hive again to see if the queen cells were uncapped or if any of them hatched, and to possibly look for the marked queen that we had bought to put in that hive. Well, we went through the hive. The marked queen that we had bought is nowhere to be found, but we found a queen. All the swarms, there was 3 swarm cells. 2 of them were empty. 1 was still sealed, so I figured the one that's still sealed, whatever inside there is dead. And we found a new queen in here. It ain't the queen that I bought, but it's a queen, but she hasn't really started laying yet, but the population in here is good. There's plenty of bees. Right now they're not flying because it's like, the upper 30s out here. And so there ain't much of anything going on, but this afternoon there will be. So that's with that hive. This hive here is doing very well. We found the queen in here yesterday too. And both hives are strong, but this new queen in here needs to get going if she wants to keep up and start laying the winter bees, because if they don't make it, and I won't know this until pretty much mid-October, if things don't go well for this hive, I'll have to combine them back into there for the winter. So that's the update right now. It's the way it's been going the whole year. That's, pretty much, my bee story. I did catch another swarm on July 12th. I caught them up in a swarm trap up on the hill where I caught the one last year. I think I put another video on about them. They went into the swarm trap. They were there for 48 hours. And then after 48 hours, they decided to come out and swarm again to a tree nearby that was 7 stories high, and I just could not get to them that high up in the air. Believe it or not, and people don't believe me when I say that, but they hung around for about 7 days up in that tree. I don't know what was going on or what they decided to do, but for 7 days they were up in that tree, And there were scouts continuously going back to the original swarm trap they came from, but it never happened. So this was my first time doing a split, artificial swarm, and last year I had two good strong hives going into the winter. They both perished. One perished in January of 2025. The other one was March of 2025. And we started all over again with another swarm collection. So I'll probably do another update when we go to winterize these. I'll let you know what's going on. This year it does not look like I will be getting any honey, which I don't need, which is fine. Last year I had a ton of honey, and I still got plenty of honey from last year. We had a really, really good goldenrod flow last summer. The goldenrod is out now. Japanese knotweed is out. So things are going to start heating up again. They were bringing in a ton of pollen yesterday. Lots of pollen going into here. Some pollen going in here, not much, but a lot of nectar in there. Quite a bit of nectar in there. So, because I said the queen is newly, she probably just was hatched last week. And I don't know how many mating flights she's gone on yet, but we were able to get a little mark on her, a little blue mark onto her. Not very heavy, but we were able to tag her. So maybe I could find her a little bit easier in another week or two. I might wait 2 weeks to go back in here, give her time. But I just don't understand what happened to my mated marked queen that we purchased. They, like I says, they ate the candy cork. They got her out, and she was fine. She was moving around on the frames, and I saw no aggression towards her. So I don't know if I ended up missing a swarm cell that was in there, and they knew they were having another queen coming. I don't know. Live and learn. Like, my bee mentor's been doing this for 13, 14 years, and even she said this year felt like she was starting all over again because she's had nothing but problems with queens in her yards. And she started out with 2 hives coming out of the winter, and I think she's up to 13, 14 now. And those are all done with splits in queen rearing. So, but a lot of her queens also have failed. And I was talking to other beekeepers the other night at the bee club meeting. Same issue. They're queen failures, and I don't know what's going on. If they're just, I don't know. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that she is going to be okay and she can pick up and continue, because believe it or not, they're not seeing much activity, but there's a lot of bees in there still. And so yeah, that's it. Like I says. So August 31st, tomorrow's Labor Day. Today we've got another dozen or so hives to go through, and in a different yard, and maybe I'll do some filming up there and put them on YouTube. Thanks for watching.